Good morning, children. How are you? In the previous session, we have learnt about the fundamental unit of life. This chapter has been deleted due to pandemic disease so that we can move on to the next lesson. It belongs to biology, right? Before going to move into the lesson, I would like to ask you few questions, children. Can you tell me the fundamental unit of life or what is the building block of an organism? For both the question, very simple answer is cell. What is cell? The cell is the basic structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Cell makes up the body of all living organisms. How many cells do you think an organism needs to live? One or 2 or 100? Well, that depends upon the organism we are going to talking about. In the previous video, I have explained about the classification of cells, right? On what basis? Based on nuclear material, shape and size, and based on number. Based on the nuclear membrane, we are classified the organisms into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Right? On the basis of numbers, the organisms are classified into two types. One is unicellular organism, another one is multicellular organisms. Okay, children. This is the diagram of amoeba. Okay, amoeba is an unicellular organism. So a single cell constitutes the body of amoeba. This cell carrying out all the functions of this organism of the body such as respiration, digestion, etc. What about cat and dog, children? Observe the picture of cat and dog. Okay. So do they have a single cell? No. They have a many cells which make up their entire body. What do we call for this? Dogs and cat belongs to? They belongs to multicellular organism. Which are the examples for unicellular organisms? Amoeba, Paramecium, Euglena. Only I have focused on amoeba. What about multicellular organism, children? So cat, dog, humans, these are all belongs to multicellular organisms, right? See, they have a many cells which make up their entire body. There are group of cells which carried out different structure and function. For examples, nerve cells perform to carry the messages to the brain. Grouping of cells. Okay, for example, here a type of cells respiration I have shown in the diagram and digestion B type of cells. These cells are grouping together and perform specific function. What are these groups are called? What do we call for such type of cells? They are called it as tissue. Okay, today I'm going to talking about the lesson biology 6th chapter biology tissue. Okay, so what are tissues? What are the types of tissues? We have to study complete in this chapter. Shall I begin, children? Okay, here. What is the definition of tissue? Tissue is grouping of cells together to perform a specific function. You know already the level of organization, right? What are the level of organization? See, single cell cannot perform all the activity, so that grouping of cells together to form a tissues. All grouping of tissues together to form a organ. Organs are grouped together to form a organ system. Organ systems are grouped together to form an organism. Here, this is a multicellular organism. Okay, the cells are grouped together to form a organ. Tissue. What are the tissues I have shown, children? One is muscle tissue and blood tissues I have shown. What is the main function of muscle tissue? Muscle tissue is a group of cells or group of muscle cells which helps for contraction and relaxation. What is the use of muscle tissue? There is for movement. How does movement takes place? By contraction and relaxation of muscles. What about another tissue, children? That is blood tissue. What is the main function of blood tissue? Grouping of blood cells together to form a blood tissue. They helps for transport of nutrient and hormones and waste material. Okay, this belongs to connective tissue, children. Okay, so these two are belongs to animal tissue. We can move on to the next session. Very important point to be noticed, all multicellular organisms having a tissues in their body, they are placed in, they perform a particular places and they carry out specific function. This is called it as division of labor. This is called as division of labor. Can you give me an example for tissue in the human body? Tell me once again, what are the tissues? Here, muscle tissue, blood tissue. Other than that, nervous tissue is there, right? You have to note down in your notebook. Draw this diagram in your classwork. What are muscular tissue? Group of muscle cells. L is for movement by contraction and relaxation. Right, children? Now let us move on to the plants. Do you think plants have tissues too? All these tissues of plants and animals similar? Not at all. Okay, all the tissues of plants and animals are similar? Not at all. But plants do have tissues but not like animals. For example, plants are stationary. Plants are stationary. Right? Observe the diagram. Okay, plants are stationary. They do not move from one place to other, right? What about animals? They are moving from place to place. Most of the plant tissues are dead because they need mechanical support, children. What do they require for the plants? They are not moving by their own, so they are stationary. They will not move from one place to another, so that they are, what is that, non-motile. Usually, the plant tissues are dead in nature because they need only mechanical support. But what about this? They do not need any living tissue. Where do animals, they move by themselves? So they require living tissue. They need nutrition. Why do animals require living tissue? Because they need nutrition and it carries all the activity. Let us understand the different types of plant tissue. One of the tissue is the dividing tissue throughout its life. So the plant tissues are classified into two different categories. One is called it as dividing tissue, another one is called it as non-dividing tissue. Understand the different types of tissues, children? So what is tissue once again? Tissue means a group of cells together to form a specific function and they have similar structure. The plant tissues are categorized into two types. One is plant tissue, another one is animal tissue. Right? First we can focus on plant tissue. Plant tissues are classified into dividing tissue and non-dividing tissue. What do we call for the technical terms we are using for dividing tissues and non-dividing tissues? The dividing tissue in plants are known as meristematic tissue. Please understand, children. So what is the word we are going to give you? The dividing tissue in the plants, it's also called it as meristematic tissue. Where does the word meristem comes from? Understand the meristem, meristematic. The word meristems comes from the Greek word, children. It means meristos, means divide. Okay, the main function of this tissue is to divide and helps the plant to grow. Then where do you think you will find this tissue? Where we are finding children? See, observe this diagram. Very important. This is the diagram of meristematic tissue. It's there in your textbook, children. Clear? So what is that? Location of meristematic tissues in the plant body. On the basis of the location, meristematic tissues are classified into three categories. One is here apical meristem. Okay. Observe. Where do you find apical meristem? At the tip. Will you notice, children? Observe carefully the diagram. Apical meristem. Okay. And the next one is intercalary meristem. Understand the spelling, children. Very important. Another one is intercalary meristem. So, meristematic tissues are named differently and the parts where they are found. They are mainly three types of meristematic tissue. One is apical meristematic tissue or apical meristem. another one is lateral meristem, another one is intercalary meristem. Clear, children? Next, see, understand the function of each one of the tissue meristem. Okay, so where do you find? Based on the location, right? So in the previous slide, what I have shown, the location I have shown. Once again, I am going to show you the location, children. Observe this diagram. Meristematic tissue divided into three types. One is apical meristem. Where do we find apical meristem? In the growing region, tip of the root stem. Okay, when you observe the plant, we can notice that when the plant is growing means, so the root tip and shoot tip, we can find the meristem, that is the dividing tissue. We can call it as apical meristem. Understand? Where do we find, children? We can find at the tip of the root or shoot. Okay, clear? What about intercalary meristem? Where do we find intercalary meristem, children? So it is present on the side of the plant body. It tells for the girth of the plant body. The main function, where do we find? It is present on the girth of the plant body. Or we can observe this slide, children. The lateral meristem means side to side. It is located at girth. Girth means what do we say? Lateral, sideway. Clear? It helps to increase the thickness of the plant body. Understand? So apical meristem helps to growth of the plant body. Lateral meristem helps to thickness of the plant body. I hope understand, children. What about the intercalary meristem? Where does it located? It is here. Where do we find intercalary meristem? See here, it is located at the base of the leaves or the internodes. You know nodes and internodes. The gap between two successive nodes is called as internodes. What is node? So node is the part, here node is the part where the leaf arises. We can find intercalary meristem at nodal and internodal region, children. Clear? So where does it located? So intercalary meristem is located at the base of the leaves or at the nodes and internodes. What is the main function of intercalary meristem? It helps to grow twigs into the branches and tissue cells. They filled with dense or thick cytoplasm. Clear, children? Next one is very important. Here, observe this slide carefully. Here, similar tissue, that means at the before maturity, here at the initial stages, these tissues are not differentiated into anything. That means any types. That means either it may be a apical meristem or it may be intercalary meristem or lateral meristem. So at the initial stage, we are not going to differentiate anything. Once they divide and mature, after completing the growth of the plant, their characteristics are going to change. Their characteristics are going to change. Then they are differentiated into components of single tissue. That means division of labor takes place. What is that one, children? So at the initial stage, there is no division, children. At the final stage, once they get mature, they started to divide. That is called divide. The division of labor takes place only after maturity. Until then, all the meristematic tissue exhibit the same function of simple growth of plant. I hope understand, children. See here, very important. See, at the initial stage, there is no division of what is that one? Meristematic tissue. Once it reaches to the final stage, so it is one of the important characteristics of this tissue. That is, what is that? Ma'am, we are having one doubt. Meristematic tissue or permanent tissue? Now we are saying that. So are they similar? Yes, children. Once it reaches to the meristematic tissue, so at the time of maturity, they loses its division. They are changes into permanent tissue. Permanent tissue I will explain in the next class. I hope understand, children. See, observe this slide, children. Meristematic tissues means what you have to remember? Meristos. It's a Greek word that means divide. Where the cells are going to divide, what is the use of division? It helps for growth. So that meristematic tissue helps in the growth and development. So after sometimes, after maturity, meristematic tissues are converted into permanent tissue. They are not going to divide further. Next class, once again, I would like to explain the types of permanent tissue. I hope clear, children. Okay, thank you.